In this video, I'll show you some quick and easy budget-friendly DIYs perfect for summer. Welcome to the Chic Show. First, we're going to start with this sign from Dollar Tree and Fusion Paint and Ingle Nook. I trimmed around the inside edge of the sign and then painted the rest of it. I did leave the outside frame as is. Then used IOD's typesetter stamps, and I stamped out the words decks, docks, and flip-flops. I just used a lid from a plastic container I had to be my mount because I couldn't find it at the time, so I'm just inking it up with black ink from Hobby Lobby. I decided to do flip-flops at the bottom first, so then I could decide exactly where I wanted the other words. I then went ahead with the decks and docks. On a side note, you can see where this wood was engraved with the fresh flowers. I think if you used some chalk paint, it would fill in those cracks a little bit more. And then I used IOD's apothecary stamps for and. They're much smaller letters, and I didn't need a big word there. Then I used what I had on hand, which was a coffee cup holder and the strap to a mask, actually, and I made a flip-flop. I tried to find a flip-flop at Dollar Tree and Dollar General and just couldn't find anything, so I made my own, and the colors worked fine. Today is a Talented Creators collaboration hosted by DIY with Aria and Lowly D's Creations. Guest hosts today are Maxine Loves Crafts and Buckeye Girls Lifestyle. Be sure and check out their channels in the description box below, along with the playlist. I got this at Dollar Tree around Valentine's Day, and I'm going to be using one of those today. The back side, I'm going to cut off that ribbon, and then I'm going to paint this back side with a little bit of watered down truffle by Waverly. Next, I'm going to be giving it a coat of milk paint in Gustavian white, and I mixed just an equal part of water and powder, let that set aside for several minutes so that it could thicken up, and then I'll put one coat on, let it dry, and then I'll go back over it with a second coat, and I'm hoping for some good crackles. And I am just applying a messy coat on both layers because I do want this to be primitive. Now, when I did the second coat, I did use this chip brush just to give it a little bit more of a wood look. I then came back with my heat gun to dry it, and those thicker places definitely started to kind of crackle. Using that same blue paint that I used in the first project, I'm mixing a little bit of black because I want a little bit of a deeper navy color for these stars. So I picked out two sizes of stars, as you see here, and I'm going to give those that same blue stain. Next, I'm using this stamp from IOD's Mercantile, and I'm using this red stamp pad from Dollar Tree. I thought maybe this would be red enough. It turns out it's not, but you'll see what I do different in a few minutes. So I'm just stamping the ink pad onto the stamp, and then I'm going to apply that to the tag. It It's just much lighter than what I wanted it. So I went back and just added some Waverly chalk paint in crimson, and I just brushed that on the top of my stamp pad, and then I re-stamped it. The great thing about these clear stamps is you can see exactly where you need to go back and re-stamp. And this is much more what I was looking for. So now I'm going to take some Type Bond Quick and Thick, and I'm going to glue on my stars. I'm going to use some large stencils, or at least the largest stencils that I have, with numbers, and I'm going to stencil on 1776. The only other thing that I did to this tag was I added a twine hanger, and I hung it around a jar that I have in my house. I got this home sign vase thing from Dollar General, and although I do love the green, I'm going to make it to fit a little bit better in my house. So I'm going to paint over that green with black chalk paint, or ink chalk paint, by Waverly. Now I'm using one of my oyster shells, and I'm using some triple thick to paint inside or on the inside of the shell to make it shiny. If you're not located on the coast, I can see this being a little bit confusing, but oysters and shells and shellfish are sustenance, they are life, they are a way of life. So down here in Louisiana, oyster art is a big thing. I'd like to take a minute and wish some of my YouTube friends a happy birthday. This month in June, Lowly with Lowly D's Creations, Jessica, the busy housewife, and Michael at Michael's Instructions. Be sure and check out their channels on the playlist below and tell them I sent you and tell them happy birthday. Here's another video for you. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.